So I bought the house 5 years ago, and I think historically, culturally in my family, my dad helped me grow flowers and a few little herbs and things. And I knew coming here, partly it was about getting healthy, partly it was about not removing, but moving kind of ornamental stuff out of the way to grow something edible that was more sustainable, that would sustain us as a family. So that was probably the initial thought without thinking too deeply about it. So this is just over 700 square metres. So there's chickens, there's the worm farm, there's the tumbler compost, there's maybe 20 or 30 fruit and nut trees now. There's the kitchen garden that you can probably see with lots of short crops and seasonal things, so lots of corn and peony, lots of herbs, lots of lettuce, lots of things in this area that you can just come out and pick really quickly and then they'll grow back, was the idea there. I very much had not a design, but had an aesthetic feeling where I needed everything to look good as well. So it needed to be a mix of grow as much food, but make it look as good and as neat and as tidy as it can be at the same time. And I liked being in the space. That was the main thing. I wanted to want to be in here. For me, it takes less chemical and less water than maintaining a lawn. This garden here is the kitchen garden, so I pick from that and I sow into that really regularly. But the rest of the garden has been designed to maybe have a once or twice a year crop, and then that's it really. So it maintains itself, and then we add whatever we need to add around it to support it, but it doesn't require a lot of effort at all. I'm probably in the garden 5 or 10 hours a week, but I choose to be. I think you could get away with a couple of hours a week and still really happily harvest quite a lot of food. So I did a permaculture design course 2 years ago. Made some really amazing friends on the mountain who were like-minded. We thought we were just doing a gardening course to grow a bit of food, and turned into a whole almost philosophical change in our mindset around community and sharing. And, you know, just as an example, like there's so much avocado growing on the mountain. I'm never going to need to grow an avocado because I've only got a small block, but friends down the street are growing their avocados, so what I've got excess of I can swap with them, and we've all got enough, so there's abundance for everybody. So I think it shifted that idea with me that I had to grow everything in this smallish space. I had a lot of friends around, and there are a lot of people I knew that were growing, and I saw a video of someone doing an edible exchange. So I had a roadside stall out the front, and we expanded that and made it into basically a free food exchange. So if I had too many apples, I could put them in a basket at the front, and I could take somebody else's excess avocado. And that became a hub where we could share recipes. And if I had a crop of mulberry, which is just down the back, but I didn't have time to make anything with it, I could put the mulberries out there or put a call out, and someone else would take the mulberries and make jam and bring it back. So that's been a really beautiful part of having the garden and not needing to do everything in it as well. I think first getting the Syntropics team out to have a look at the space you're already in. Most people know their space, but to have somebody with the Syntropics experience to actually look at it with a different set of eyes and offer you the opportunity of what it could be like, that was a starting point. And then I actually really enjoyed the design and I guess still consultation process, actually meeting with the team, talking back and forth about what I wanted, what you guys could see, things I just didn't know about in terms of planting and what it could look like. That was actually a really fun process to go through that, and just the back and forth. I think that's really lovely because you know you're getting what you want if you go through that process. So that was a couple of meetings, and then a couple of days installing it was just fun. Like, it was a lot of work. It was hot, and it was there was a lot involved. But I think when you're involved in installing it, you're much more intimately connected to what you're then growing and what you're looking after. So it's almost that custodianship after the fact. I think the first thing that really struck me was just the sheer quantity of food that you guys plant. Like I'd known about some of the companion planting ideas, like the Three Sisters, like corn and beans growing up the corn and zucchini sort of covering the ground. But then when the Syntropics team did the new part of the garden, the idea that you could plant all of that stuff in the same hole was just completely new to me. So I may have had some beginner knowledge, but just not that sense of like the sheer abundance of what the Syntropics team plants was just completely new to me. Connection to nature, knowing where your food comes from, connection to soil, connection to yourself, connection to others is really important. And I think I didn't know that's what I was going to find starting this, but I can't imagine being without it now. I identify as being, I'm going to use the word custodian. I feel like I'm a custodian of that soil and that patch of land, and that to me, there's knowledge in growing that food and in being in that space and sharing it. If I can't eat all of the turmeric and the ginger that comes out of the ground, I can certainly share it with my community and my friends and my family. So that's a really lovely point of connection as well.